All right, let's get right into it. We've got 5 games to break down from February 8th, 2025, a night full of action in the NBA.
Some really interesting matchups tonight. Definitely some surprises and some standout performances, too.
Absolutely. So to get us started, we had the Clippers taking on the Jazz. Clippers snapped their losing streak with a decisive win, 130 to 110.
Yeah, big win for them.
Norman Powell and Ivica Zubac, both with 26 points each. What do you make of that?
I think, it shows the depth of the Clippers, right? They're not just relying on their stars.
Yeah.
Getting those contributions from role players like Powell and Zubac
Yeah.
is huge for them.
And their defense, it seemed like they really shut down the Jazz.
Absolutely. They were aggressive, forced turnovers, and really disrupted the Jazz's flow. A complete performance.
Speaking of impressive performances, we have to talk about the Kings. They faced off against the Pelicans, and, well, it was a nail-biter.
Down by 20 at one point, weren't they?
Yeah, 20 points. And they still pulled off the win, 123 to 118.
Talk about resilience.
I know, right? It makes you wonder, how do they do it?
Well, Domantas Sabonis, for one.
Of course.
It's another monster game from him. 27 points, 16 rebounds, his 46th double-double of the season.
He's a double-double machine.
Yeah, it's like clockwork at this point. But, it wasn't just Sabonis. The Kings had contributions from other players, too, which is, that's what makes them so dangerous. They can beat you in so many ways.
And they did it all against Zion Williamson, who, by the way, had a 40-point game.
Yeah, incredible performance from Zion. But just not enough to get the win for the Pelicans. The Kings, as a team, were just too much.
All right, moving on to the Denver Nuggets. They kept their winning streak alive, beating the Suns 122 to 105.
Another impressive win for them.
Nikola Jokic, nearly a triple-double, 28 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, and all of that in just 3 quarters.
It's getting hard to find new ways to describe how good this guy is.
Right, he makes it look so easy.
His versatility,
Yeah.
Scoring from anywhere on the court, his passing, his rebounding.
Right.
He impacts the game in every way.
And it's how much better can he get? It's scary to think about.
For sure. But also, let's not forget, the Suns were missing Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal.
Yeah, that definitely makes a difference.
2 of the best scorers in the league. Their absence puts a lot of pressure on the rest of the Suns to step up offensively.
Absolutely. Now, on to the Celtics. They had a pretty dominant game against the Knicks.
A blowout. 131 to 104.
Yeah, a blowout. The Celtics just looked unstoppable.
Their offense was clicking, multiple players contributing, they were moving the ball well. It was a clinic.
And their defense, too, right? They didn't give the Knicks any space to breathe.
Yeah, suffocating defense. The Knicks just couldn't match their intensity.
All right, let's wrap up this first part with the Thunder versus the Grizzlies, 2 of the top teams in the West going head-to-head.
A clash of the Titans. And the Thunder came out on top.
125 to 112. What a game.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was incredible.
He really was. 32 points. Is he becoming one of the league's most exciting young players?
He's making a strong case. That smooth game, always in control. And he's not just scoring. He elevates his teammates, too.
That's like he's making everyone around him better. And Aaron Wiggins, 26 points and 11 rebounds.
Another standout performance. But you know what really impressed me about the Thunder? Their defense. It was stifling.
Yeah, they're all over the Grizzlies.
They forced turnovers, contested every shot, and made it really tough for the Grizzlies to get anything going.
Wow. So before we go on to analyze what we've seen tonight, I want to hear from you, the listeners. What are your first impressions of these games? Which team surprised you the most?
Yeah, let us know what you're thinking. So, we've seen some incredible individual performances tonight, but it's also interesting to see how these games kind of reflect some bigger trends.
Yeah, now that you mention it, it seems like a lot of these wins came from teams that really played well as a unit. Like, it wasn't just one star player carrying the team.
Exactly. Like, look at the Celtics and the Clippers. They had guys like Powell, Zubac, and Wiggins who really stepped up. It wasn't all on their shoulders.
Right. Right. It makes them so much harder to guard when any player on the court can, have a big night. So do you think this is like a league-wide trend now, or is it just something we're seeing in these specific games?
Well, I think it's definitely becoming more common. Teams are realizing that you can't rely on 1 or 2 superstars anymore. You need depth and role players who can contribute. It's all about the team.
It's like that old saying, there's no I in team.
Exactly. And then, well, of course, there's defense. We saw some really impressive defensive performances tonight, especially from The Clippers and the Thunder.
Yeah, that's true. They were locked in. So, I mean, some people say offense sells tickets, but defense wins championships, right? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think it's that simple. You need both to be successful in the NBA. But I think defense is often overlooked. And I think, tonight we saw how a really good defense can disrupt even the best offenses.
Yeah, totally. The Clippers shut down the Jazz and the Thunder just, I mean, they made things so difficult for the Grizzlies. Okay, so we've talked about team play and defense. Who are some of the players that stood out to you tonight? Who really impressed you?
Well, I mean, where do you even begin? Jokic, just another incredible game from him.
Yeah, it's like he's playing a different game than everyone else sometimes. Can you like break down what makes Jokic so dominant?
His versatility. He
Oh,
can
yeah.
score from anywhere, inside, outside, you name it. Plus, he's a fantastic passer. And his rebounding, he just does it all. He elevates his teammates.
He really does. He's conducting the whole orchestra out there. And then you've got Sabonis, another double-double. I mean, is he the most underrated player in the league?
I think he might be.
Yeah.
He doesn't get the same hype as some other big men, but he's so effective. Great footwork, soft touch around the rim, and a monster on the boards. The Kings are really lucky to have him.
Yeah, he's a beast. Okay, Zion Williamson. He put up 40 points even in a loss. What do you make of his performance?
Williamson is just a force of nature. So strong, so athletic, and he just attacks the basket relentlessly. A nightmare to guard. It's just a shame the Pelicans couldn't pull out the win.
Yeah, it felt like every time he touched the ball, something exciting was about to happen. Oh, and we got to talk about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, he was crucial in the Thunder's win. Scoring, defense, he did it all. Is he like becoming a more complete player?
Oh, absolutely. He's always been a great scorer, but
Yeah.
his defense, I mean, it's really stepped up this season. He's using his length and his athleticism to shut down opponents.
Amazing. So we've talked trends, individual players, offense, defense. How do you think these games are going to affect the playoff race? Any early predictions?
Well, it's early in the season, but I think these games they're definitely shaking things up. The Clippers win was huge for them. It shows they're still a contender.
Especially after that losing streak. Like, they really needed that win.
Exactly. And then the Thunder. I mean, that win over the Grizzlies is a statement. They're a legitimate threat in the West.
Wow, the West is going to be a battle. What about the East? Any surprises over there?
The Celtics, I mean, they're looking like the team to beat, but, the Bucks and the 76ers are right there with them. And don't forget about the Heat. They're always a tough team to play against.
It's so exciting. It feels like anyone can win on any given night. So, listeners, I want to hear from you now. What do you think about these games? Are you surprised by any of the results? Are your favorite teams living up to your expectations?
Yeah, let us know. We want to hear your thoughts.
All right, so we've talked about the games, we've looked at some trends, and we've even heard some of your thoughts. But now, I got to ask, which team's performance tonight really, threw you for a loop?
Tough question. I mean, were you expecting the Clippers to bounce back like that after that losing streak?
I mean, I wasn't sure what to expect from them, to be honest.
And the Kings,
Yeah.
that comeback, wow.
Yeah, that was something else.
Or maybe the Thunder, that win over the Grizzlies was pretty dominant.
It makes you wonder, we all have our preseason predictions, but then a night like this happens and it kind of throws everything out the window.
Right. It reminds us why we love this game. You just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Upsets, surprising heroes. I mean, it's all part of the drama.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we've been saying all night, it's not just about who wins and loses. It's the stories,
Right.
the battles, the coaching, the moments that make you jump out of your seat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about the human element, the players and their dedication, their resilience, the drive to be the best. It's inspiring.
And for us, the fans, it's about those connections, arguing about the game, the trash talk, celebrating those big wins together.
So as you continue to follow this season, keep that in mind. It's not just about the standings or the stats. It's about the stories, the journeys, the whole picture,
Right. Dive deeper. And most importantly, talk about it. Share that passion with other fans, argue about it, debate those hot takes, and just enjoy the ride.
That's what it's all about.
Well, folks, that wraps up our deep dive into the NBA action from February 8th, 2025. It was a wild night. We'll be back soon with more insights and analysis of the game we all love.
Until then, keep those hoops dreams alive.